And Vikings game plan officially is underway into a game against the New York Giants. This is Andre Patterson, defensive line coach for the Minnesota Vikings. Daniil Hunter, working with Danielle Hunter. What's that like?
It's a coach's dream. You know, he's a hard worker, big-time student. He's going to do everything you ask him to do, and it's very, very important for him to succeed. And you know, he had a Pro Bowl year a year ago. He signed a big contract, and it hasn't changed him one lick. He's still the same guy that showed up here the first day, hungry and determined to gain as much knowledge as he could. And so that's a pleasant surprise as a coach, because usually it changes.
Do you think Linval Joseph is properly appreciated league-wide?
No, because most nose tackles aren't. You know, this league is based off of D linemen sacking the quarterback. You know, everybody gives those guys the ultimate value.
Yeah.
And you know, run defenders usually don't get the credit that they deserve. But I guarantee you, if you talk to the players, the offensive linemen in the league, they will tell you how much they respect and fear 98, because he's hard to handle. And I think he's one of the top 1 or 2 nose guards in the National Football League.
So, Andre, when Linval has a couple of sacks, is that gravy, or is it like, boy, that really helps because that means maybe others are getting attention and he's capitalizing on rare one-on-ones?
Yeah, and that's what happened. Like the 2 sacks he's gotten this year, they happened because, like, you talked about keeping the quarterback in the pocket. Well, we say, hey, he likes to escape in the B gap that's open.
Yeah.
So nose guard, what you're going to do this week, you're going to rush your A gap, but you're going to protect that B gap, and the ends are going to send him there. And that's what happened on both his sacks, is that Daniil and Griff did a great job of coning the quarterback, and he went to go run where he wanted to come out.
Yep.
And now all of a sudden 98 standing there to hit him, you know. So it's a team effort, a group effort to be able to get that done.
Well, speaking of Everson Griffen, I mean, from the work he did week 1 against Jake Matthews, high-end left tackle, through this Bears game against Charles Leno Jr., who, in my opinion, doesn't necessarily get the proper credit league-wide for how technically sound and good he has been for years. How's Everson playing overall?
I think Everson's on fire. I think he's playing great football right now. I mean, I think he's playing better than he's ever had.
Wow.
And he's locked in, he's focused, he comes to work every day with a purpose. He works hard out on the practice field. And, you know, for you to play, you know, 2 Pro Bowl tackles back to back and dominate both of them, and that's a huge statement. And so hopefully we can keep him on this course throughout the rest of the season. But I think he's playing great football right now.
Now, the man generally next to Linval Joseph is 93, Shamar Stephen. He was here a couple of years ago. Then he went to Seattle, had a couple of sacks. He's back now. He had a sack in the game against the Bears. With Shamar, is what he does incredibly underrated, but incredibly important?
Oh, big time. I mean, it's what he does is big for our defense.
Yeah.
And, you know, I guarantee you, if you talk to Kendricks and you talk to Anthony Barr, they will tell you how much they appreciate that guy and that they want that guy in front of them, because he keeps those guys free.
Yeah.
And when you put 93 and 98 in there together, those 2 linebackers have a great opportunity to make a lot of plays and make a lot of tackles. But the biggest thing, like against the Bears, you know, Shamar, I think, had 6 or 7 tackles through the course of the game. And like you said, he had a big-time sack during the game also, too.
Right.
So I'm so happy that we have him back on our football team.
Now, Andre was with the Minnesota Vikings under the late Denny Green in 1998, that fantastic season. And back to 98, when you think of Hall of Famer John Randle, what was it like working with John, and what were some things under the radar that made John as good as he was?
Johnny was fun to coach, but, you know, he worked harder than anybody I've ever been around. You know, he was the Energizer Bunny, man. I mean, you know, I can remember this, you know, my first pregame warm-up with the Vikings for our first game, you know, and you put your first defense out there, you know, and I put the first defense out there, and Johnny comes rip-roaring off the ball and gets in the backfield and hits Robert Smith. Okay, so then the second play is a pass. He rushes full speed and goes back there and touches the quarterback.
Whoa.
And so Denny Green walks over to me and goes, "Hey, Dre, You can't put 93 out there in pregame warm-up, all right? Keep Johnny off the field, all right? So from that point on, he never got a rep in pregame warm-up, because he was gonna go full metal jacket all the time. And we back then two-a-days were for real. You practice twice hard, and he was like that practice 1 and practice 2 all the way through training camp. And I've never been around anybody like him in my whole coaching career. He was a pleasure to coach, a student of the game, and I was very fortunate to have the opportunity to coach him.